Acha, now we'll talk about the functions of cerebrum. Now, cerebrum is the seat of intelligence, consciousness, and willpower. Do you possess cerebrum? Okay. It controls it controls your reasoning power, your instinct, thinking, learning, and memorizing. Even when you feel love or hatred, that is also done by in the cerebrum. Okay. And cerebrum is also responsible for sensory perception, seeing, taste, hearing, smell, pain, all these are done in the cerebrum. Then we have the cerebellum part. Cerebellum is called the little brain. Amra dekhechi na cerebellum, that is the little brain part. It is located at the back of the cerebrum and it is partly even overlapped by it. You do your own work. Functions of cerebellum hoche, it coordinates the voluntary movements of the body को coordinate करते हैं by controlling the activities. एखाने हम लोग का जो voluntary muscles है, जो voluntary है, not involuntary. हार्ट को वो कंट्रोल नहीं करेंगे, बट जो voluntary muscles है, हाथ का, पैर का, all these will be controlled by the cerebellum. And body balance is also maintained by it. हम लोग गिर नहीं जाए, so that we can walk properly. That is also done by cerebellum. Then comes the medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata, that is the that is the posterior most part of the brain, and it is also called the brain stem even. So, इसका क्या काम है? It coordinates, ওখানে আমরা কি দেখলাম? All the voluntary activities are controlled. Cerebellum. And medulla oblongata controls all the involuntary activities, visceral organs. It regulates breathing movement, heartbeat, swallowing, the peristalsis movement, all these are controlled. These are the various parts of the brain. It is complete. Now we come to the spinal cord. Now, spinal cord is the extension of medulla. Brain stem extended होके spinal cord में जाता है. And the vertebral column and the neural जो canal है, it goes up to the lumbar region of the vertebral column तक पूरा जाते हैं. The vertebral column का भाई क्या काम है? It protects the spinal cord को, it protects from injury. Spinal cord में the arrangement of grey and white matters, उसमें we have seen na, in brain also there was white matter outside and grey matter inside. Here it is reversed. The grey matter is centrally located in those H-shaped region. This is the grey matter in the H-shaped region, and the white matter is the peripheral layer. Could you please show the photo? Reflex action also. It mediates the involuntary activities also like heartbeat, breathing movement and all. And it conducts the impulses also from the body to the brain. Okay? Peripheral nervous system. Now we come to the third part, the peripheral nervous system. And we have seen that there are two types of nerves, the cranial nerves and the spinal nerves. The nerves that arise from the brain से जो उठता है, they are called cranial nerves. Spinal cord से जो आता है, they are called spinal nerves. Yes. And these two मिलके, they are the peripheral nervous system. Now there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of spinal nerves, as I told you yesterday also. Now the cranial nerves supply different parts of the head. The spinal nerves arise from the spinal cord and they supply different parts of body excluding head. Spinal nerves never go to the head. Each spinal nerve is of mixed type. That is, they have both sensory nerves as well as motor nerve fibers. Now, what is reflex action? Our response to several stimuli is very automatic. I have given you the example. Now we have put a hand on a hot object. We just take it off. Now the whole thing takes about fraction of a second to do. So it's very automatic and very swift, our response. Action is taken even before we realize what is happening. So this immediate action to the stimulus without thinking is known as reflex action कहला जाता है. Now what are the, let me give you some examples of reflex action. Like something falls on our eye and we blink it. So blinking of an eye is a reflex action. Thermal response, I told you, our finger touches some hot object, the finger is removed even before we realize it. Knee-jerk reflex is also there. If you tap below your kneecap, the lower leg automatically jerks. Knee-jerk reflex. And another is the response to pain. If by accident you place your foot on a pin or anything, spine, we jump quickly. That is also a reflex action. Pupil reflex is also there. When you come out of a dark room into a bright room, we cannot face the light and automatically our eyelids close immediately and the size of the pupil also reduces. This is also a reflex action. So all these reflex actions, how do they occur? How do they happen? Now, actually there's an arc, a reflex arc, and the entire thing happens through it. The path through which the stimulus travels from the receptor to the effector organ is called reflex arc. So, okhane ki hoy? First, we know that sense organs are the receptors to perceive the stimulus. Heart is a receptor, eye, nose, whatever, they are the receptors. So the receptors receive the thing. मान लो hot thing हम touch किया. So मेरा हाथ उसको touch किया. That is the receptor organ. From there, the sensory nerves or the afferent nerves carry them, transmits this khabar. हरे गरम में हाथ दे दिया. So this khabar is transmitted through impulses from the receptor to the center of the medulla of the brain or spinal cord, as I told you. So that is half the distance moved. Now, interneurons or association neurons, I told you, वो लोग in the brain or the spinal cord, they connect the sensory neuron to the motor neuron. Oh, यही हुआ है. So we have to do something. So वो चीज में transmitted हो जाता है खबर, impulses from the sensory neuron to the motor neuron, and these neurons which transmits from sensory to motor neuron, they are called intermediate neurons. Okay, and now the motor nerve or the efferent nerve will say, oh, haath hata, then we put off the hand, and this thing entire reflex arc घूमने में we take only fraction of a second. Now, so these are the various organs affected. Now, like the thermal receptor, now the mechanism I am telling you, the thermal receptors in the skin of finger perceive the stimulus that generates actually age impulse gulo de ho gaya 10 do 9 10 abhi tak you couldn't do 9 also for me. Don't do this. I'll teach you this.
Got it.
I'll teach you that. So the sensory impulses जो है, तो age impulse गुलो हम बोल रहे हैं जो खबर. So how do they move? They move through electrical signals, electrical impulses. The sensory impulses generated are carried by the sensory fibers, ठीक है, to the spinal nerves, to the spinal cord, and through interneurons they are converted, and then the motor neuron generates the motor impulses which are transmitted through the motor nerve fibers to the biceps, bicep muscles there. Again it will come here. you put off the hand. So this is the thing happening. Okay. Now there's a experiment called Pavlov's experiment. With that, I'll just end up the chapter. This is a famous one. That এই যে experiments গুলো বা experiences are also learned. Maybe they are not with us when we are born, but they are learned. These are called acquired or conditioned reflexes. এই যে we are learning to play harmonium or mouth organ. We are not born with the skill, but we learn it. Okay, so they are acquired reflexes. Now, Pavlov, he was well-known, he performed a well-known experiment regarding the sound of the bell and the salivation of a dog. What happened? A bell was rung near the dog. The dog did not respond at all. And he didn't even salivate it. Salivation, you know now? Now, you place the food in front of it 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and now as soon as you place the food, the dog salivates. Then you do one thing, you ring the bell and put the khana in front of the dog. So the dog salivates because it sees the food, the bill, and you carry it on every day for 7 days, 10 days, 1 month. You do like this, ring the bell, put the khana, and the dog salivates. Now, one day, you ring the bell, but the food is not there, but still he will salivate. Why? Because this is an acquired reflex. He has acquired that whenever the bell will ring, my khana will come, and I will salivate, and I will feed myself. So that is the thing. Even if it doesn't come, he will do the salivation. This is Pavlov's experiment. Okay? So, combining we have both the reflexes with us, conditioned reflexes, unconditional reflexes, and with that, we keep on showing our actions. Okay?